Arundel County Council is now in session. Please stand for revocation.
I'd like to speak about Michael Peroutka, the councilman sitting before you, who has a long association with a hate group called the League of the South.
Earlier this year, Mr. Grasso, you silenced the testimony of two Anne Arundel County citizens who attempted to speak about Councilman Michael Peroutka's past membership in the League of the South.
The group advocates Southern secession. Regarding President Lincoln, the League states, "Join us to celebrate the great accomplishment of John Wilkes Booth. He knew a man who needed killing when he saw him."
We saw in Charlottesville the flags of the League of the South intertwined with those of the KKK and of the American Nazi Party in Charlottesville. And so I would urge every member of the council to if you have made any statements in the past that the League of the South is not a hate group, to retract those remarks or correct them in light of what has been learned since that time. The League of the South, on its own website, purports to be a group dedicated to the preservation of Anglo-Celtic heritage.
I too would like to speak about Michael Peroutka's involvement in the League of the South. It's my understanding that the League of the South is a white supremacy group dedicated to Southern secession and the formation of a Southern government led by and for white Christians. Mr. Peroutka was a member of the League for many years and in fact served on League's board of directors.
My councilman was a member of League of the South, and that our chair has refused to allow testimony on that concern.
During the time of Mr. Peroutka's membership in the League of the South, the organization unequivocally advocated for an independent Southern nation.
Chairman Grasso, you recently made a statement about the American Civil Liberties Union. Specifically, you said that the ACLU serves a political agenda and are all about one side. This is untrue.
And you may want to do a little research on the ACLU and some of the cases protecting immigrants as far back as when the Italians came to America.
I urge you to reconsider your remarks on the ACLU so that Anne Arundel citizens know your position on civil rights and civil liberties.
Our councilman was a member of a Southern secessionist organization whose current website logo includes a Confederate flag and whose rhetoric glorifies the Old South.
Earlier this month, the ACLU sent a letter to County Council Chair John Grasso informing him that he had improperly censored 2 county residents. In discussing the matter with the Capital Gazette, Mr. Grasso was quoted as saying, "I don't agree with anything the ACLU does. The ACLU stands for civil rights and freedom of speech for all."
Speaking to this subject in June, I was shut down while John Grasso allowed the pastor of this very same hate group to speak. Why would John Grasso deny our right to free speech to protect Mr. Peroutka from his ugly past?
Mr. Peroutka, you should not be on that county council. Okay, I don't know what sort of grandfather you are. Maybe you're wonderful, but you do not belong on that county council. These issues of race, when nooses show up at my local junior high school, is a problem. As a county, whether it's Mr. Shue or this council, needs to come out with very robust policies and statements against this.
We have chosen to speak about Mr. Peroutka. In the past, when speaking about Peroutka at these meetings, Council Chair John Grasso has threatened us with removal or arrest. It should be obvious to elected officials that the suppression of free speech in this room stands in opposition to a fair and healthy democracy. I believe the fact that John Grasso does not understand this issue makes him unfit for the office he holds.
ACLU's mission is to defend and preserve the individual rights and liberties guaranteed by the Constitution and laws of the U.S. You also stated that you don't agree with anything the ACLU does. Can we take this to mean that you're against cases such as Loving versus Virginia and Brown versus the Board of Education? As a fellow Glen Burnie alumnus and the child of a mixed-race couple, I hope that you wouldn't want to throw my parents in jail, and that you don't have a problem with people who look like me and others who would have had to drink from the colored fountain and attend separate schools within your lifetime now enjoying the same rights that you do.